Not too bad.
Sure. Not bad.
You doing alright?
Yeah, good.
Haven't seen you in a while? Yeah. That's a good thing, right?
Well, I don't know. Sometimes yes, sometimes not. I never had all that.
Can you get you to take the mask off? You're not in trouble.
I know that.
I know, but it's just something we gotta say. So. Alright.
You alright?
Mm-hmm.
Haley?
We were talking about some other things.
Oh, okay.
So it has nothing to do with this.
Okay.
I had some problems with some people on the floor, so.
Ah, gotcha.
Yeah. There's always
It's always that way.
something.
It's always that way.
There's
Yep.
always something.
Part of being human, right?
And that's part of being in the hospital.
There's that. So, Mr. Halliday,
Yes, sir.
can you just, from...
Tell us your name.
My name is, I go by HT, but my name is Hillier Truman Halliday. I'm a licensed RN in the state of Oregon and a multi-state compact license throughout the United States.
And how long you been an RN?
10 years.
10 years. And you live here in Artesia?
I live in Hagerman.
You live in Hagerman?
Mhm.
Okay.
I've worked here. I've worked in Ruidoso. I've worked in Tucson at Northwest Medical Center, Oro Valley. They also have a standalone marina, standalone ER, and I also worked at Bay City Area Hospital in Coos Bay, Oregon.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So you've traveled.
Mm-hmm.
Alright. So, I know you already told me before, but can you just, from the beginning of your contact with either the mother or the child, can you tell us from the beginning to the end everything that you have had, that you witnessed?
Well, I was the charge nurse in
Okay.
the ER that night.
And what is the charge nurse?
Charge nurse is responsible for the overall running of everything that goes on. Any problems or any issues or anything that needs to be dealt with as far as well, just about anything, you take care of that.
Okay.
Okay, you're in charge of the whole
ER.
work center. Yeah.
Okay.
I was doing triage that night, and so we have three positions. We have 3 nurses, 3 positions. You have a triage nurse, and then we have 2 other nurses that take different rooms. Usually it's 1, 3, and 5, or 2, 4, and trauma 2. And then trauma 1 is one of those rooms where usually we don't have anything in there unless it's bad, and everybody kind of just is in there. So I was doing triage, and I was a charge nurse. It was a regular night. I remember she came in with back pain, and they had put her in. They were going to treat her in triage 1 with some regular medications for back pain. But after the doctor examined her, she was a little concerned, I think, because of her heart rate and some other things. So she wanted to move her into a room and do a more extensive workup, which is what they did. At that point, I don't really know anything because she's taken out, she's not really my patient.
Okay.
So I know that Chris had her. I know that he came to me and said there was some issues because they had ran a pregnancy test on her, and they found out that she was pregnant. And she was adamant. The mother was in the room with her and was adamant in denying to.
Did you see that? Or did it was?
No, Chris came to me and told me this was what was going on because we were having an issue.
Okay.
And he was worried about the mother, the dynamics between the mother and the daughter, because the daughter was completely denying she was pregnant, and the mother was relatively upset about that she was pregnant.
Okay.
So
and you're talking about Chris Sanchez.
Chris Sanchez, yeah.
Okay.
And so I told him, well, as long as she behaves, okay, if it's going to make her, and he goes, yeah, she's okay. I think it's going to be fine. So that's the last I heard of it. The next interaction I had was I had the tech, which was Lori Aragon, come and tell me, HT, you need to go to the bathroom. So I went to the bathroom. There was quite a bit of blood in there. So this was after she came out. She went to the bathroom, was in there for a long time. And Chris was telling me, she won't come out. So I told him, you need to get the key. because the bathroom's locked. And so he told her he was going to get the key, and so she came out. But there was some blood in there. So I went to Dr. Vakas and told her, I was worried that she did something to herself physically in the bathroom. You know, the way she reacted being pregnant and the things that I was being told.
How much blood was in the bathroom?
It was smeared around, so it's hard to tell exactly how much. But it was enough to cause me to have concern.
Okay.
I really thought she had done something physically to herself when she found out she was pregnant.
Question: when did she find out she was pregnant?
It was pretty early on because we did the urine first off. Any female that comes in with back pain, we do a urine right away because we're worried about a urinary tract infection. And with any female, when we do that, we always do a pregnancy test to make sure we don't give them medications that would contraindicate pregnancy.
Do you know who told her she was pregnant?
I believe Dr. Vasquez did.
Okay.
I believe. I don't know because I wasn't in the room for that because she wasn't. Okay. I wasn't involved with direct care. Okay. But I knew she knew fairly soon because we already were having an issue with the mother being upset about her being pregnant.
Prior to going to the bathroom?
Way prior.
Okay.
Way prior. Because then they'd started an IV and then they started running blood work on her because once you find out someone's pregnant, then you run another lab test to see how far along they are.
Okay.
So they started an IV and we're giving her some fluids. I guess I don't know exactly what they were doing. I wasn't involved with that kind of care. But I told Dr. Vasquez she definitely needs a vaginal exam. I'm concerned that she did something to herself. That was my concern. And they took her right into the room. And then I told Lori, call housekeeping. They got to come clean this up. Which time she called Leela, who was on call for housekeeping. Then I was just sitting there, and then the next thing Lori comes and goes, HT, oh my God, you better come to the bathroom. I go in the bathroom, and she goes, something's in the trash can. I'm like, I looked in there. There's a clean liner. I'm like, what are you talking about? She goes, pick it up. I picked it, I could feel the weight. I knew then we had a serious problem. I just grabbed the trash can and went right across the hall into trauma 2. The liner was pulled out, but there was another trash bag in there in the bottom, but it was all it was rolled up. So I had to tear it apart. And then, of course, I saw the baby in there. So I pulled the baby out, got him on the bed, checked for signs of life. There was absolutely no life whatsoever. I immediately came out of there after I did that, went into the room where she was performing the vaginal exam, and I immediately told her, you have to come out now. And she came out, and we went into trauma 2, and she reassessed the baby. At that time, between me and Chris and her, we determined, there was no reason for us to begin any life saving. The baby was completely gone.
What did the bag look like?
The bag was the original trash bag that was in there. It had trash in it. When I pulled it out, it was spun, where it was tied, and then it was folded underneath the baby in there. So it was like a little capsule the baby was in. So when I had to tear that bag open to see the baby in the bottom. If you would look in the I looked in there. When she told me, she was something. I looked. I said, "What are you talking about?" Because there was a clean liner in the trash bag.
So basically, he was in the bottom, trash on top of him,
and then another clean liner had been put on top. Yeah. So then after that, after we determined we were not going to do any work on the baby, I shut the room down and I said, call the police. And then I didn't let anybody. No one went back in that room. I made sure of that till the police arrived.
And you said, so with the blood in the restroom, you said it was like smeared. Can you describe where all it was smeared at?
On the floor, there was some on the toilet, there was some on the wall.
Do you remember which wall?
There's the one wall that's by the toilet, that's closest to it, where there's a side rail. There was some blood there. There was quite a bit of smearing on the toilet itself. And then on the floor, it was just, smeared around.
Okay. What do you think that is from?
I thought she did something to herself physically.
Okay.
Because she found the interaction between her mother and her daughter was weird.
And so, but just to make sure, mother is patient's mother,
yeah,
and then daughter is patient.
Yeah. So the daughter is the patient and the mother. The interaction between them after she found out she was pregnant, the way the daughter was reacting she was adamantly denying she was even pregnant. She was denying that she had sex.
And you heard her say that?
Yes, she was denying that openly. So.
What did Mom say when she said that?
Well, Mom was upset. And the mom was saying, I can't believe you. You know you can talk to me. You're supposed to talk to me about this stuff before you were having sex, all those kind of things. She was saying stuff like that, which is pretty common. I mean, this isn't an uncommon thing. I see young girls having sex and they come in and they're pregnant, and then the mother is with them and find out, and it's upsetting to them.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it wasn't uncommon that that happens.
Finding out your daughter's pregnant is not uncommon. Not the other incident. Not the.
No. I've never seen anything like that.
Okay, just want to make sure. Like,
No.
So just.
No, I've seen lots of young girls come in and find out they're pregnant, and then of course they deny it. It's not uncommon that they deny that. No, mom, I haven't even been having sex. You know what I mean? That's a lot of them's initial reaction,
Right.
because they feel like they're going to be in trouble. I guess I don't know what they're feeling, but that's not an uncommon reaction that I see with young girls and their mothers, particularly with their mothers in there or father, that they'll deny that they've had sex. That's pretty common.
All right. And so you said it was Lori that called you. You went in, and the liner was still on.
Yeah, there was a clean liner on the top. That's why I was like, "What are you talking about?"
Okay.
And then she said, "Pick it up." And when I picked it up, it was heavy. I was like, "Holy shit!" You know what I mean? I knew right away. I knew. Then I just went straight to trauma 2 with the whole trash can. I just went across the hall and got broke the baby out.
So after you, Doc, and Chris, decided there was no resuscitation, what did y'all do after that? What did you do after that?
I made everybody leave the room, and I told Lori, call the police.
But then after that, what? Anything else?
No, I didn't do anything until the police arrived, and they came and asked me what was going on, and I took them into the room and told them this is what happened, this is what we found, and I haven't talked to them yet.
Okay.
I haven't said anything to them
So
until
between
the officer arrived.
So from the time of declining resuscitation to officer involvement, you didn't have contact with patient or mother?
No.
Okay, just want to make sure.
No, I didn't go in the room till after the policeman showed up, and then I went in there to talk to the patient,
Okay.
and asked her why was the baby in the trash can.
And what did she say?
She said that it just came out of her and she didn't know what to do. That's what she told me.
And did she say it was breathing, not breathing?
She didn't say
She
anything
didn't
like
say
that.
anything.
No.
She just said it came out. She didn't know what to do.
Right.
Okay. And at that point, did mom say anything?
Mom went kind of a little bit irate, like, "Oh my God, how could you, But I think the mother was in the assumption that it was a miscarriage. And I told her, "Ma'am, that is not the case. This is a full-term baby that was placed in the trash can." And then and that's when I told the mom, "Ma'am, if you can't control yourself, I'm going to have to ask you to leave the room." Because she's 19, she's an adult.
Right. And what did she calm down?
No, she actually left. She went outside.
And outside to like the waiting room?
To the waiting room, yeah.
Okay.
And then she came back in.
Once she calmed down.
Yeah, and then when she came back in, and then once I talked to the police officer and stuff, some of the family had started showing up. And she went back out there, and at that point I told them, because the officers asked me to not let anybody in certain rooms, and so I told everybody, and I even went out there and addressed the family. I said, "I'm sorry, the police are here now. This is kind of an investigation thing. We need to find out what happened, and no one will be allowed back into the working area anymore."
Right.
And so I kept them in the waiting room after
Did
that.
they have any comments?
Not one.
Really?
I was really surprised. Not one person asked me about the baby, if it was alive, if it was dead, if it was a boy, if it was a girl. No one asked me anything. Not even, she didn't
Not
even
even
ask.
the patient?
No, she didn't ask. The only thing she started doing was crying and started talking about she didn't know what to do. Not one. I've never seen I've delivered multiple babies and I've seen multiple miscarriages, and I've never seen a reaction like that. And I don't even know what to say about that. I've never seen anything like it.
How would you describe the reaction?
I think there was no emotion except for herself, and she really wasn't even crying tears. She was just, and the only thing she would was upset about was that I think she was going to be in trouble with her mother. That was her only concern, in my opinion. There was no concern for the baby. No one asked me any questions about the baby. Not even the family members, when I went out there and talked to them, did they say, you know, normally people, I would think, would say, was it a boy, a girl, you know, no one asked me one question about the baby at all, not one.
The whole time?
The whole time. No one asked me anything about the baby's condition, if it was a boy or a girl, anything, nothing.
Okay. Did you have any interaction with her when she got, I know she was flown to Roswell. Did you have any interaction with her then?
Because when we looked at the baby, the umbilical cord was still completely attached. So then I had concerns about her health. When the baby comes out like that, we worry about the placenta being still attached, which causes the mother to bleed. Mm-hmm. So at that point, our concern was about her.
Right.
And getting her somewhere. Probably, I envisioned that she probably was going to have what we call a D&C to get the rest of the placenta out of her to make sure she'd be okay. So I was in there explaining to her, this is what's going to happen. You know, we're going to have to fly you to Loveless, for you can see an obstetrician to take care of this stuff. So I explained what we were going to be doing with her at that point. But it was just basically, my job telling her, this is what I need to do to make sure you're safe, and you are okay with that.
There was no more conversation about the baby, or
I didn't have any conversations with her about the baby at that point. Okay. No. My only conversations with her were about what I needed to do to ensure her health.
And at that point, Mom still hadn't asked about the baby?
No, Mom was already out in the waiting room at that point.
Okay.
We didn't let her back in. But no, she didn't. Okay. Now, I know that I had because I had called the house supervisor to come down because this is a big deal. And I know that she kind of intervened on some things in the room. I don't know exactly what they talked about. Right. But I know that Marina was visibly upset about the conversation she had with her.
Okay. Yeah, we talked to her yesterday.
Right. So I don't know what their conversation was. I know that Marina was quite upset about the conversation they had. That's all I can say. As you could tell, right. I could tell Marina was upset. Right. As most everybody, which was after that point, my job was I had to get back. We still had patients coming in. I had ambulances coming in. I had 2 ambulances show up. I had more patients coming on the floor. I was down 3 beds because I had them coordinated off. So at that time, my attention turned to I have to get everybody functioning. Right. Which not only did I have to do that with the nurses to get them back, I had to pull the doctor aside and get her focused because she was visibly upset. Right. So that was my mind frame at that time was I have to get these people back. We got to, we have sick people still. Can't do anything else. I mean, it sounds cold, but that was my mindset is I have, we had sick people and we had ambulances coming in and I have to get these people back online. We have to get back to work. We have to function.
Right. Yeah, the ER still has to function.
I have to roll.
Okay.
Is there anything we haven't asked you think we should know?
I'm just going to tell you this. I've never, ever seen a reaction like that girl. I don't even know what to say about it. There was zero emotion. I don't even know what to say. I've never seen anything like it. I've seen women that are only married, or not married, but pregnant for 6 weeks and they lose that baby and they're a mess. You know what I mean? That girl went in that bathroom, made no sounds at all, and the baby came out of her. And I don't even know how she functioned that way. To do what she did and with no emotion. I've never seen anything like it.
And it was a pretty good sized baby. Pretty good sized.
It looked term to me.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, it was term. I can't tell you that was, but the only thing that upsets me the most is I understand she was scared, and I think her mother had a big dynamic on her, and I understand that. I mean, I think her mother was probably pretty controlling. I don't know that. I'm just speculation. But she gave me no chance to save that baby. I had no chance. And that's not what I do. My job is to save lives. And I had no chance on that baby. She gave me no chance. And we are a facility that you can drop the baby off, no questions asked. You can just leave the baby and go. I don't care, as long as you bring the baby to a safe. We are one of those type of hospitals, so it's hard to fathom what was going on in her mind. I don't know. I've never seen anything like that, and I pray to God I never see it again. I mean, it was like, I don't even like TV shit, you know what I mean?
Right.
Shit I don't even know what to say, man.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
We appreciate what you do.
Oh,
I know we've dealt with, we've done a lot of things together. I appreciate what you do.
It's my job.
Every day.
I appreciate
But it's not just a job. It's a calling, and we can tell that you take it to heart. And,
well,
and I truly, as a father, I truly appreciate what you do.
Well, it is very upsetting what transpired.
Yeah.
And it's, like I said, it's hard to choke down when you don't even have a shot.
Right.
She didn't give me a shot at that kid.
Right.
So it's hard. Yeah.
Well, I know you've been doing it a while, so if you need to talk to somebody, don't hold it in.
Well,
Get to talking to somebody.
It's just one of those things you got to put in a case and put it away.
I know.
Go to work.
I know. I've done it many times.
Wow.
So,
So you know what I'm saying.
Well, if you have any questions, let us know. Cynthia has my contact info. If we need to get a hold of you, it's okay. Is it okay to get a hold of you again?
Absolutely, man.
Okay.
In my opinion, that kid didn't have a chance. And I don't know what she did or didn't do. Can't say for sure. But I know she gave me no chance.
Right.
And that's all that matters to me. I didn't get a chance.
You get a chance to do your job.
I didn't get a chance to save that kid. And I believe wholeheartedly in my every fiber of being I'd have saved that kid. Or we would have got that, he'd had a shot. We'd have got him out of here alive. I don't know, but you know what I mean? I like I said, I don't know. I didn't inspect the child that closely. Once we looked him over and, there was no signs of life and he was gray and there was absolutely no heartbeat. There was nothing, to present life. But I always feel like I always have a shot.
Right.
With whatever comes through my door.
This is the one you didn't have that option.
I didn't have an opportunity. I've delivered, a month or so prior to that, we had a lady come in that was breech. The kid was hanging out or blue. And that kid is alive today and well.
That's good.
So, I really feel like we didn't get a shot.
Okay.
All right. Well, try not to hold it in too long. All right.
And that is what it is, man.
Well, you're in that line of work. It just keeps piling.
Well, that's how it goes.
Yeah. All right. Well, appreciate it.
No problem.
Hopefully, don't keep you too long from work.
I'm finna go start right now.